Well, yeah, we'll jump into it. That's cool with you.
Sir, let's do it.
I bet that. Well, yeah, once again, from the great minds of nine, talking about. This is 4 for 10. Got the homie TJ. I'm
Yes,
just go by
sir.
TJ, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay.
Yes, sir.
Where you from? What's your hood? What's your squad? What you repping?
So I'm from Gainesville, Virginia, born and raised in Prince William County. So, and just all the refs out there, man. That's me.
Okay, okay.
So,
What sports you played growing up?
growing up, I was a huge soccer player. I was a goalkeeper. So before, you got to like U8 around here, you had the little small soccer goals and everything. You couldn't be a goalie. So I was a striker, and then they ended up moving me up at 7 years old. I was playing with U11,
Mm,
and I was playing goalie. And ever since then, I just rocked as a goalie. And we moved from Woodbridge to Bristol, and soccer wasn't really big. So then that's when I started to pick up basketball. But man, I was a little small kid. I was like 5 foot and like 80 pounds going into freshman year of high school, bro. I was a tiny kid. So being that, go soccer went out the window and just picked up basketball.
okay. Who put you on the flag? Who brought you out?
So my buddy Justice, I was in the military from 2016 to 2018, and I tore my meniscus, and so I got medically discharged. And when I came back, one of my buddies asked me to come play football. They needed a quarterback, and so I went to go try it out. I never even heard of flag, like I never played when I was younger or anything, and he brought me out to FXA flag, and I just really enjoyed it and met a bunch of friends through it. And so then it ended up sticking to that.
Okay, okay. What's your favorite format to play?
So to be honest with you, I've only ever played a co-ed. And then let me rephrase that. And then in 2022, I got put on the eight-man contact. But I never played small ball. That was never a thing for me until I ended up going to referee tournaments. And to be honest with you, I didn't even know about tournaments until 2021, like the travel scene or anything.
Wow.
That was all new to me. So I really enjoyed eight co-ed. Daniel Hunziker was one that really helped me a lot when it came to eight co-ed, especially at the quarterback position. He played for A1 and now plays for Bolts. Um, so he's somebody that really helped me out there. But I really enjoyed eight co-ed. Not the new seven co-ed stuff. That's just different and weird. So
That's
I get it from a business perspective. You can
yeah,
put more teams on the field and stuff like that, so your pockets get bigger. But
yeah, of course.
yeah, no, not me.
What's your favorite format to ref?
Now that I enjoy the five non-contact. I um going on the travel scene and everything, seeing the talent that's across the country and everything, and the game speed and just the knowledge and everything, five non-contact is definitely the best format to ref for me because it challenges me. It makes me have to be on my game just as much as it is them on their game. And so for me, it's five non-contact. And let me rephrase it. It's five non-contact pro. I'm not talking about the five non-contact rec or amateur or the lower divisions or anything like that. It's five non-contact pro for sure.
All right, I know you from roughing flag games, but you ref high school as well, right?
Yeah, so this was my first year reffing high school tackle and high school girls 7-on-7. I got picked up by a buddy that I actually met through Flag. He's the vice president of the organization. He brought me up to Frederick County, Maryland. It's like an hour, 15-minute drive. It's not anything special, but here in Prince William County, which is like Battlefield, Patriot, so on and so forth, they told me that they would only keep me on freshman and
Mm,
not let me ref JV or varsity, and that would be a 2 to 3 year process. And I said, I don't think I want to wait that long.
yeah.
And so he ended up asking me if I wanted to come up because they really needed somebody in the girls 7-on-7 scene for flag. And I told him I would come up there, but I want to ref varsity. And he said done. So it was kind of a give and take. And so this is the first year that I did it. I ref like seven varsity tackle games, but I did like 25 freaking girls JV and varsity 7-on-7 games this year.
Okay, okay. How'd you get into ref life in general?
You can thank one Mr. Rock McCarter for that one. Actually, it was a tournament that was in Fredericksburg in 2021, and he ended up needing so Weekend Warriors ended up hosting a tournament in Fredericksburg, and they needed a tournament. They had a referee drop last minute, and Rock called me like it was like 9 p.m. on Friday and was like, "Hey man, there's a tournament in Fredericksburg. Do you want to come ref?" I was like, "Bro, I don't know fucking left from right when it comes to refing." And he goes, "Man, just get a shirt, get a flag, get a whistle. They'll teach you the rest."
Hmm.
I was like, all right. And me being somebody who doesn't like money, right?
Yeah.
And so I went there and it turned out that I did better than I thought. And they asked me to come to UFFL Nationals, which is the tournament in Orlando every January. And ever since then, it just stuck, man.
Wow.
It stuck like no other. And so I have Rock to thank for that one to just putting me onto the ref scene.
That's dope. That's dope.
It's all love.
Traveling life ain't normal, especially for a ref. What's the biggest difference you noticed city to city, league to league?
Not everything gets played the same. And I'll tell you that, like, not the level of competition in leagues are different. The styles are different. Like man, there I was talking to somebody this past weekend down in Tampa. There's a Miami league that really only plays 4-on-4.
Mm.
And we don't even offer 4-on-4.
Yeah.
So you see going around to the different leagues and stuff like that. Like there might be, in this case, the team from Miami that only does 4-on-4. Then you go to California and their big thing is 5-on-5 contact. Well, we don't do that either here.
Mm.
And so it's just what you definitely see the level of competition based on what your area is. And so those who aren't used to playing the formats, for us, it's 5 contact, and honestly, really fours. You go out there and you could have all the talent in the world, but if you're not used to playing it, it's just a whole different level.
Mm. Okay. Okay. Uh, is there an unwritten rule Russ live by the players just don't realize exists?
Unwritten rule refs realize or that players don't.
I think the reason why, well,
Or,
maybe something we just don't understand in general. Because I think the reason why I ask that is because a lot of times we don't understand that y'all have areas that y'all are watching, and y'all are not just watching the game. So we're like, why you ain't call that? And it's like that's not my area. That's not.
so So I'll be perfectly honest with you. It really depends on the crew that you're working with that day. Because there's some crews who live and die by their zones because that's the tackle aspect of it. If you leave your zone and tackle, for instance, I left my zone in tackle and threw a flag in somebody else's zone for a varsity game last year. I didn't get written up for it, but I got written to be talked to about it later because that's like docking a point. It's not really anything that goes against you or anything, but it's to help you get out of other people's zones and get to where you need to,
Mm.
especially in the contact world because that's how injuries happen and stuff like that. If you're looking one way and a car wreck ends up happening in your zone and you're not there, um, so in the flag world, I really feel like if you get put on with people who understand zones, it's so much better because you can understand that every area of the field is getting covered.
Mm.
But then you have some people who like in a four-man crew, you got one person behind the quarterback, you got one person on the line of scrimmage, one's on your rush, and one's downfield, right? A lot of the times that referee that's on the line of scrimmage will also turn their eyes to the quarterback. And for a lot of our senior refs, if we just need to be the only ref back there. We don't need four sets, like, we don't need four eyes back there. So once the rusher gets to the line of scrimmage, you need to just turn downfield because that's where all the action and stuff is happening. So it's really dependent on your crew and the communication that you have with them. The the main key is we are supposed to be looking in certain zones. But a lot of the time it really just comes down to like I've emphasized who is on your crew and who's looking where. And so it ends up being one of those things that are the referee's responsibility. And I did that very well, and I'll give myself credit. Before every day this past week in Tampa, I got with my crew, and instead of telling them where I needed them to be, I asked them where they're supposed to be.
Mm.
And so it lets them think a little bit, lets them think about what their responsibilities are and so on and so forth. And it was probably the best week I've had crew wise just because of doing that.
Okay, okay, that's dope. All right,
So,
next,
but
go ahead.
but to answer your question in a more detailed way, players don't understand rule versus judgment.
Mm. Before we get back to the convo, a reminder that flag football is bigger than just touchdowns and highlights. In our Talm Bout Flag, the culture series, we went straight to the stripes. Real conversation with referees about the pressure, the criticism, the biggest misconceptions, and the passion it takes to officiate this game. If you missed it, go check it out after you finish this one. Now, time out. Now back to the convo. Mm, okay.
And so a lot of people think because, hey, this is the rule, they don't understand that the referee's judgment comes about. And so a lot of the times that they think the rule is emphasized more than the judgment. But in order for us, like you can't challenge judgment. You can't really you can question judgment all day, every day.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, if the judgment is there against what you guys are seeing as players, I mean, there's nothing really else that you can do about it. If we go to and be like, my judgment was I saw it this way, I mean, what really is your argument
So,
back against that?
okay.
You know,
What's the most misunderstood rule in flag football?
misunderstood rule. The big one I had this past weekend was charging. And so
Yeah,
a lot
yeah.
of
I didn't
people,
think charging was a thing in flag. I mean, I understand impeding. I understand like you can't run over somebody, but it was just the
correct.
fact that somebody actually called like charge. That's what threw me off. But go ahead.
So a lot, again, when you get to the upper levels, the comp, elite pro, um, at these tournaments, they understand it very well. But it's more so the fact of treat it like basketball. If the defender is there, stationary and ready to pull your flag and you run them straight over, that's what we call right of place versus right of way.
Mm,
Right of place always supersedes right of way.
mm,
So if I'm there first and if I'm running straight down the line and this person comes in this way to pull my flag and there's contact and enough to where you deem that it hindered the runner or the runner ended up on the ground, so on and so forth, that's illegal contact on the defense because they have their right of place going straight versus you coming in to pull the flag. Now, if I'm here stationary and now I'm running forward and I just come up to pull your flag, I tell people because most people are multi-sport athletes. Treat it like basketball. If you're there, it's a charge. If you're not, it's a block.
mm.
And if it's a block, it's illegal contact on the defense.
Is that a newer rule in flag?
No, it's just like you said, it's one of the most misunderstood rules because you don't get it seen or you don't see it get called very often. And that's just because a lot of the referees' interpretations of it are newer. Um, but you didn't really see it until I want to say it's 2023 when Intercontinentals when it was in Charlotte. That's Team USA, Brazil, Mexico, Panama, so on and so forth. And it got emphasized there a lot because it was happening a lot, especially with Mexico and USA playing each other. Um, and so after that, a lot of videos got out, especially with refereeing and stuff. And that's when it, at least in USA flag, now I flag,
Mm,
um, that's when it got emphasized more. And so it's starting to get called more, but it's still one of the newer rules to be understood by players.
okay, makes sense. Makes sense. Um, how'd you end up being the kicker? Was it chosen or volunteer for you?
Honestly, I still don't know.
Hmm.
I really don't. I just know that I was again, a soccer player growing up. And I think it was one day I was playing for Ray's contact team and somebody just needed to kick the ball. And I did a kickoff and it went out of the back of the end zone in the air. And so after that, then I can't remember. It was a long fourth down. And Ray goes, TJ, come kick the ball. I was like, kick the ball fucking where? And so he's like, no, go kick a field goal. Let's go. And I'm like, all right. And ever since then, it just worked.
Okay.
So I do miss kicking. I miss playing. In 2024 states, I got hurt. I pulled my groin really bad. And it took probably every bit of a year to heal. That's why you really didn't see me playing flag. Reffing's a whole different story.
Mhm.
But that's why you didn't even see me playing flag is the fact that I was just injured. So, but yeah, I mean, kicking's a lot of fun. Definitely can be stressful, especially when y'all are freaking yelling at me from the other side the entire time. But
But
yeah,
let me ask you a couple questions about kicking. Do kickers need rhythm like shooters, or is it pure muscle memory?
do kickers need rhythm more? I mean, I honestly think it's pure muscle memory and a simple fact of if I don't kick the entire game, I mean, I still go up. If it's a kick to win the game at the very end, just because I didn't kick all game doesn't mean that I shouldn't know how to kick. And so to me, it's the muscle memory of taking your two or your three steps back, your two steps left, and just taking your two forward and connecting with the ball.
Mhm.
Now, I'll tell you this much: it a good hold is very important to the kick. So you have to have somebody that you trust there. Because if those laces are any bit not straightforward,
Mhm.
it really does affect the kick, and a lot of people don't understand that. And
Okay,
so if the
okay.
laces are left or laces are right, that's going to tilt the ball one way or another.
Makes sense.
So,
Makes sense. Do you
mhm.
think kickers get enough respect in flag, or is it still an afterthought until something goes wrong?
It's definitely an afterthought until stuff goes wrong because, like I just said, the kickers aren't on the field all the time, and it really depends on if your kicker is some like an every down player. Like in this case, Cam rushes. So Cam's a beast as a rush, but when he goes to kick, if he misses the kick, are they complimenting him for his rush or are they talking about his missed kick?
Hmm. Okay,
You
that's
know what I'm
interesting.
saying? So in that case, you're gonna talk about Cam, why'd you miss that? Like what happened? Why'd you miss that kick? And so to me, it's there's still an afterthought, but you make the kick, you get all the praise. You miss it, you know, you're gonna get all the downfall too.
That's that's part of athlete. You kind of go with every position too.
That's everything
When
too.
you put in those
Exactly.
words, I'm like, well, that goes with every position. You call
Mhm.
for this route, you drop that pass. You know what I mean? You getting it.
I mean, for sure, but the difference in that aspect is you have more opportunities as an every down player,
Mhm.
but you go, for instance, you go drop a pass on a hitch route, but then you go catch a post for 40 yards. Are they going to really remember the drop or are they going to remember the post for 40 yards?
That's true.
In this case, if I go miss a 35-yard field goal and it was my only kick of the game, and we lose by two, are they going to remember my missed kick or are they going to remember your drop pass?
Yeah, and if you miss it early enough, we're not kicking no more. So,
Exactly. If you miss a 35-yard field goal in the first 5 or 7 minutes of the game, you're right. You might not kick the rest of the game.
yeah.
So
Couple quick hitters. Favorite distance to kick from?
I like the 40 to 45-yard range.
All right.
I don't know what it is about it, but I have the confidence every bit to kick 40 to 45 yards. And uh, now that I'm healthy again, you might see it again this spring for sure.
Okay. Worst surface to kick on?
Turf.
Turf is the
I
worst.
hate kicking. I hate kicking on turf. I would rather kick on grass any day.
Wow. Okay. Okay. All
So
right. Ice cold weather or blazing heat? Does it matter? Does it bother you?
if as a kicker, blazing
Yeah.
heat all day, every day.
Okay.
All day, every day. That ball, if it is ice cold, that ball is rock hard. And trying to kick a rock hard ball, I don't know if you've done it before, does not feel the greatest. So I would rather be in blazing heat. And the simple fact is like when you're standing on the sideline, the blazing heat's not as terrible. But
Mhm.
if you're standing in freezing cold and you're getting cold and trying to warm up and you just can't,
Mhm.
that doesn't equal a recipe for success either.
That's true. That's true. All right. What's worse for a kicker? A bad snap, a bad hold, or bad confidence from the sideline?
A bad snap. And to be honest with you, it's because a bad snap always throws off rhythm. It's the start of
Mhm.
every kick. You got to think about it. That's the start. So if if you're doing the kick right where the holder's already down and it's just snap, hold, kick, different. But you got to think FXA, you get the 5 seconds. So most of the time, people are just snapping it to a dude standing up or the dude's taking
Mhm.
the snap under center. So a lot of the times, the bad snap is never there, which means the bad hold is never there. So in that aspect, it's the confidence from the sideline. If you hear them walking out and they're like, damn, he's gonna fucking miss this kick. I mean, obviously that's replaying through your head, and then you got people on the other side. TJ, you suck. Timeout, timeout. Like all that. Man, don't tell me about that one. But if you're doing it normally, a bad snap throws everything off. If it skips into the holder's hand, the timing on
Mhm.
the hold is off. You know, if the holder's got to come up to receive the snap, the timing's off and everything. So to start a good kick is from it's like every play. The snap is
Yeah.
everything. So it's definitely a bad snap for me.
Okay. Okay. Worst weather to ref in. Freezing rain where both teams are just trying to get through it. Burning hot heat where the ball keep moving and you got to run. Beautiful weather but terrible football.
Uh, the first one, the freezing rain. And it's just the simple fact of in a freezing rain, more than likely nothing's happening. So you're staying stationary most of the time. And it depends on if it was supposed to call for it or not. Because if it wasn't supposed to call for it and I don't have any of my rain gear,
Yeah.
man, I'm just as pissed as y'all are. And so, and if you're like ref flag, no, it's not. My hands are in my pocket. I'm cold. So, but it's definitely the freezing rain. Because in the other aspects, you know, in the blazing heat and the balls moving and stuff like that, you're still more than likely seeing good football. And so you're at least seeing stuff happening on the football
Yeah.
field. The other one, you know, that's freaking every other game. So
I
that's
don't think
every
we,
other game is bad
I don't
football.
think we understand how average most of these guys be, bro.
That's every other game is bad football. So and it's no discredit
Yeah,
to
yeah,
anybody that's playing. It's just, I mean, I'm gonna keep it real. It's facts. It's
yeah.
you know, you got a casual team playing a freaking pro team. A pro team's gonna kick your ass
Mhm.
97% of the time.
What's
So
what's better to ref? A blowout win, a comeback win, or ugly dogfight?
a blowout win is out because that gets boring, and more often than not, the game ends quicker. Um, Comeback wins a lot of fun because to me, I had it happen a couple times in Tampa, and just the confidence level that stayed with the team that was down,
Mhm.
for them to come back and win, um, was pretty exciting to see. I would probably choose that one just for the aspect of it's all right. Here's a little inside scoop. The For me as a referee to see you collapse and then to see the arguments that come from the collapse and everything like that internally, it's fun to watch. And I'm saying it from the simple fact of y'all might have just had a 20-point lead and y'all started the coast, but then now y'all blew it
Yeah,
and y'all got comfortable and now y'all arguing with each other. That's fun for me because we're on our feet for 12 to 14 hours a day. We got to have our entertainment somewhere
yeah.
too.
That's true.
And so, but then the excitement that comes from it, especially like a last minute jump ball or a last second jump ball that ends the game and stuff like that. You know, I saw, I don't know if he did it this year, but last year in Tampa, I remember Rock doing that on a jump ball in the end zone. I remember this dude named Otto from Georgia. He did it this weekend
Mhm.
to end the game. So those type of games are fun from the excitement of coming back to the downfall of the comeback.
Okay,
So,
I like that. That's a
yeah.
good answer. Well, yeah, man, that's 4 for 10, man. I appreciate your time.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you.
Uh,
I,
man,
I just got a question.
with that.
Where did you find that fucking photo? My God.
These 4 for 10s will not stop. Every Wednesday, we got y'all. Now, I'm talking about from the players, podcasters, and the ones behind the cameras to the GMs, OGs, refs, and girls coaches. That wraps up our all-season series, Talking About Flag. Shout out to everyone that made this happen. That's that community we be talking about. As always, appreciate your support. Like, share, subscribe. We can keep this convo going. You know what I'm talking about.